This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Thursday, the 2nd day of January in the year 2020. I'm Gordon Mosley, thanking you for joining us. Here is what we're tracking tonight. The Tullow Oil Company today announced another oil find in Guyana. In a statement, the company said the discovery was made at the Carapa-1 exploration well, which was drilled on the GuySuCo license offshore Guyana. The company has encountered approximately 4 meters of net oil pay based on preliminary interpretation. The announcement of the discovery by Tullow comes just weeks after the Exxon company started its oil production in Guyana and made its own 15th discovery. According to Tullow, the preliminary results of drilling, wireline logging, pressure testing, and sampling of the reservoir fluid indicate the discovery of oil in the Upper Cretaceous age sandstone reservoir. Rig site testing has also indicated that the oil is 27 degrees API with a sulfur content of less than 1%. A detailed lab analysis of the oil quality will follow in due course, the company said. According to its Chief Operating Officer, Mark McFarlane, the Carapa-1 well result is an important exploration outcome with positive implications for both the GuySuCo and Urundug blocks. He said while net pay and reservoir development at the location are below their pre-drill estimates, they are encouraged to find good quality oil, which proves the extension of the prolific Cretaceous play in their acreage. He said the company will now integrate the results of the 3 exploration wells drilled in the adjacent license into its Guyana and Suriname geological and geophysical models before deciding the future work program. Tullow said the Carapa oil discovery suggests the extension of the Cretaceous oil play for the Stabroek license southwards in the GuySuCo license. Repsol Exploration Guyana is the operator of the GuySuCo block with a 37.5% stake. Tullow Guyana also holds a 37.5% stake, with Total E&P Guyana holding the remaining 25%. More news coming up in just a moment.
Tired of long lines? Register with MyGTT at mygtt.co.gy. That's mygtt.co.gy to view and pay your bills from anywhere. Enter to win an Amazon gift card worth $25 or a bounty voucher worth 5,000 Guyana dollars when you sign up today. GTT, do more.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
GuyOil's Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose GuyOil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
At the most critical life-changing moments, the National Insurance Scheme is here to ensure that your needs are covered. Access reimbursement for medical expenses for various aspects of your medical care. We know that eye care is of utmost importance. Receive assistance with our Spectacle Care voucher. Visiting the dentist? Dental care is also covered under our sickness benefit services. Offset the funeral expenses of a loved one with costs covered by our funeral benefits. National Insurance Scheme. We're there every step of the way.
Forward ever! Backwards never! Join us on January 3rd at 5 p.m. on Durban Park as we launch the Forward Ever, Backwards Never campaign for a president you can trust, a man of integrity, charm, and experience to lead Guyana into the new era of economic prosperity. The president who stands firm and resolute on his principles of truth, justice, integrity, and honor. It's the launch of the APNU AFC Forward Ever, Backwards Never campaign on January 3rd at 5 p.m. on Durban Park. Everybody coming from the mountain, from the savannah, from the riverine, from the coastland, from the hinterland to re-elect David Granger. It's the launch of the APNU AFC Forward Ever, Backwards Never campaign on Friday, January 3rd, 5 p.m. on Durban Park. Forward ever, backwards never.
All across our nation, Guyana, we see it in your lives. The future growing even stronger. GBTI, all eyes on Guyana. the skies as the voices of our people rise again. GBTI, Guyana's pride is in your eyes. GBTI, we see Guyana through your eyes.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right, walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong, be the one to live right.
Welcome back. In a New Year's message to the nation, President David Granger has welcomed Guyanese to the Decade of Development. The president said the Decade of Development is a 10-year plan that will accelerate the country's 4 transformative processes: the green state, the digital state, the petroleum state, and an education nation.
The first transformative process involves the transition towards becoming a green state that will emphasize the preservation and protection of the environment and the graduation towards greater value-added production. The second will be the development of a digital state, which will connect every region, neighborhood, village, community, and government agency, generate ICT services, and make public services more accessible. The third will be the emergence of an education nation, characterized by every child attending primary school, every child graduating from secondary school, and the country having a more highly educated workforce. And the fourth will be the beginning of petroleum production, which will result in fast economic growth, increased employment and economic opportunities, and larger fiscal revenues.
With the Guyana economy set to grow by more than 85% this year, the president said citizens can look forward to living in a country which enjoys high levels of growth and human development, and with accountable government and greater equality,
including to the aged, the infirm, and to children. Communities in which there is a roof over every head, and parks and playfields, and recreational facilities where citizens are free to walk without fear of molestation. A country with modern infrastructure which could allow someone to drive from Crabble Creek on the current team to Sand Creek in the Rupununi, and with every household, community, region and business having access to the internet. We will continue to protect human life by safeguarding the environment.
President Granger noted that constitutional reform will allow for the easier resolution of political differences, and citizens can be assured that their communities will be safer and that borders will be more secure.
Human safety by intensifying action to suppress and reduce crime, protect human life, and ensure national security by safeguarding the country's territorial integrity and sovereignty. Indigenous peoples' development by preserving indigenous cultural identity and according recognition of indigenous peoples' knowledge in protecting the environment. Energy sector development through strengthening the institutional, legislative and regulatory framework for the management of the petroleum sector, and by fast-tracking the development of renewable energy sources.
The productive sectors, the president noted, will be more resilient by receiving increased support to drive economic development. In the world of business and aviation, Caribbean Airlines is not happy with a recent report out of the Competition and Consumer Affairs Commission of Guyana. The report called out the airline on its high prices for Guyanese passengers and claimed that Caribbean Airlines was charging those high prices to sustain some of its less performing routes. In response, Caribbean Airlines denied overpricing Guyanese travelers to sustain any other market. The airline said it has been loyal to Guyana for many decades and has remained here while other airlines have packed up and left. According to the statement from Caribbean Airlines, to pick out a few individual fares and suggest that it indicates that the airline is using those fares to subsidize routes elsewhere demonstrates a limited understanding of how airlines operate in the real world. The company said it has been expanding its service to Guyana and will continue to do so this year. There are substantial investments in the Guyanese market, the airline said, where Caribbean Airlines already has a number of competitors and where there is always the threat of new entrants. Caribbean Airlines in its statement said it closely manages ticket prices in the Guyana market to be competitive and appealing to its customers. The company said its prices are frequently cheaper than its competitors when comparing like for like. The airline also believes its service to the Guyana market is a major success story that brings enormous benefits to the Guyanese economy, Guyanese employment and connectivity for Guyana across the Caribbean and beyond. The airline believes that if it has direct flights between Guyana and New York, it will be able to offer better prices on that route. Over the years, Guyanese passengers have been complaining about the high prices for various Caribbean Airlines destinations from Guyana, including Trinidad and Tobago. Those complaints triggered a study that was recently completed by the Competition and Consumer Affairs Commission. The Commission has recommended more airlines be added to the route, as well as Guyana moving to have its own airline in an effort to create more competition and get better prices. In the field of agriculture right now, the Guyana Sugar Corporation GuySuCo this afternoon reported that 2019 saw a sugar production shortfall of 17,000 tons in the second crop. The company said the shortfall is the consequence of major mechanical failures in the Albion and Iflat factories and increasing industrial unrest with the Blairmont estate leading with the most strikes. The advent of adverse weather from the last week of November also influenced the progress of harvesting, the company said. According to GuySuCo, the second crop production was closed on the 21st of December, with 1,981 hectares still to be harvested. The company said the sugar industry will continue to face challenges to achieving reliability in the factories if operation capital investments continue to be delayed. But it's not all bad news for the sugar company and sugar production. GuySuCo also reported that the productivity of cane fields continued to improve, as reflected by cane yields that exceeded the crop estimates on all estates. The corporation anticipates the expansion of its operations this year with planned improvements in the fields and factories, as well as the commencement of preparatory works for the installation of a cogeneration plant at Albion Estate. That move is anticipated to support the supply of power to the East Berbice region. Let's tell you now that the Housing Department has noticed an increase in the number of Guyanese seeking to get their own land to begin house construction. The Central Housing and Planning Authority recently purchased over 1,400 acres of land for development for housing. But that might not be enough, as there are over 60,000 applications on file for house lots. Minister responsible for housing Annette Ferguson told reporters earlier this week that the focus will remain on providing developed land and housing solutions for the working class.
What we have started here at CH&P is to look at all applications. I've made it very clear, from 2010, 2009, going way up to the early 90s. So we have started in that regard. And what we have seen from the last set of outreaches we had in regions 2, 5, and 6 is that we were able to deal with those applications from 2010 going way back earlier. And you had persons who came in with acknowledgement letters from 2011, in some cases to current, and we were, because of the reserves we had, we were able to address those applications.
During 2019, over 1,000 house lots were allocated. Minister Ferguson said the Central Housing and Planning Authority must focus more on ensuring adequate housing for the working class.
The mandate of the authority here is to provide housing accommodation for the working class of people. And for me, I think the authority in some way, shape or form would have deviated from its initial responsibility. So we really have to bring things back into perspective. So 2020 going forward, we will seek to address all of this.
Central Housing and Planning Authority Chief Executive Officer Leland Saul has said that the focus will be more on the small man, adding that projects like the duplex project will continue.
Not the issue with the banks right now is the issue about ownership, particularly at Perseverance. We are working to resolve that. I mean, in many countries across the region, there are apartment buildings, there are duplexes, and we have to embrace these things. I'm quite positive the financial institution will get on board and support our initiative.
There are several housing programs and initiatives that are scheduled to come on stream this year. In the world of politics now, the People's Progressive Party Civic is open to supporting a re-verification exercise to verify the existence of the 5,000 people who were not at home or could not be verified during the recent verification of new registrants. There are 16,000 first-time voters. A 5-day verification exercise was able to locate over 10,000 of those first-time registrants. PPP General Secretary Bara Jagdeo.
There could be a process of revisiting them before the OLE comes out, so that their names would not be, they would be on the revised voters list, but could, once the re-verification takes place, and the revised voters list has to be published for 21 days. Then, by the OLE, by the time it comes out, then they would have re-verified the 5,000 other names there, and then have those either removed or if they are not non-existent, or remain on the revised voters list.
Meanwhile, the Elections Commission has included the names of all of the first-time registrants on the revised voters list. The revised voters list, which was published a few days ago, has over 600,000 eligible voters. Political parties have been carefully examining those names on that list. Across the Region is coming up next.
They've made a positive impact on the heavy-duty transportation industry in Guyana since they've arrived. Guyanese are amazed at their power, durability, efficiency, and superior handling capabilities. These are brand new trucks, manufactured in partnership with German, Italian, and French companies. They have a powerful reputation for operating under very adverse Guyanese conditions and come with full after-sales service and spare parts. They're the most sought-after trucks today, with over 500 units in Guyana, and they're available in over 100 countries, including South America and the Caribbean. Be smart. Buy brand new ST Howa trucks today. Call 608-4998 and arrange for an inspection at ST Truck Guyana Incorporated, Block B, Public Road, Covenant, East Bank, Demerara.
There once was a man named Stan whose business needed a new plan. Christmas was coming, this much was true. He needed some help but didn't know what to do. Then fast as a flash, 3 helpers did come from Republic Bank. They came with some. One had low interest rates, one reduced equity, one with approval so quick and easy. Now Stan is the man and his business is booming. Christmas is good and he is winning. Reach more customers and boost your business with a Republic Small Business Loan today.
Only for this Christmas. Get 20% off on educational tablets. Get the B-Link HD8 with 180 plus full version educational apps for students in pre-K to 5th grade. It's perfect for homeschooling. Get creative with the Edu Tab Pro 10.1, designed for professionals, teachers and higher education students. Whether you are an architect or artist, there is an EduTab for you. EduTab tablets were designed for Caribbean students. Order online or at Zune Online Shopping on Middle Street, Georgetown. Ask for Miss Green. Get yours today.
Special terms and conditions apply. Coupon cannot be used in conjunction with other coupons. Orders may be subject to local taxes and import duties. Discount price is promotional for online orders only and does not include local nor international shipping. Purchase limited to 2 devices per household.
Forward ever, backwards never. Join us on January 3rd at 5 p.m. on Durban Park as we launch the Forward Ever, Backwards Never campaign for a president you can trust, a man of integrity, charm, and experience to lead Guyana into the new era of economic prosperity. The president who stands firm and resolute on his principles of truth, justice, integrity, and honor. It's the launch of the APNU AFC Forward Ever, Backwards Never campaign on January 3rd at 5 p.m. on Durban Park. Everybody coming from the mountain, from the savannah, from the rivering, from the coastland, from the hinterland to re-elect David Granger. It's the launch of the APNU AFC Forward Ever, Backwards Never campaign on Friday, January 3rd, 5 p.m. on Durban Park.
Forward ever, backwards never. Everybody on stage.
The National Data Management Authority is responsible for creating ICT hubs in the country. In Region 6, we have about 58 community ICT hubs and hotspots. It has benefited communities in many ways. You have persons young and old, they partake in basic computer training, and then they use the skill they would have learned and take it to the work environment.
When it first opened, I come, and then the teacher just told us when they go print what date they go start print on, and the rest of the day we go, if we have assignment or homework, we go and use the computer. Mrs. show how for research it and save it and thing, and then I practice and I get used. When I get used, I know everything. Even I know how to print. The hub, so when I come and do my homework, the internet is extremely good. So when I do my homework and teacher has give away assignment and score down, I have 20, sometimes I have 10 out of 10, and you know, I always get my full amount of marks.
Across the region right now, 2 persons died off Puerto Rico's southwest coast late on Tuesday when their catamaran caught on fire, according to the authorities. Puerto Rico's fire department said the incident occurred in the Puerto Real Marina in the town of Cabo Rojo. The victims were not immediately identified. It was not clear how the fire started. Since then, there are reports that the persons have been identified as American citizens. At least 16 inmates have been killed after a riot broke out at a prison in central Mexico. 5 others were wounded in the clashes. During the riot, which lasted for about 2.5 hours, officials say prisoners fought each other using handguns and knives. Violence is often reported at Mexico's prisons, many of which are overcrowded and dominated by drug gangs. 1 prisoner was arrested with a gun still in his possession, and 3 other handguns and knives were later found inside the prison. And finally tonight, international news. Turkey's parliament has passed a bill that will allow the government to deploy troops to Libya to intervene in the civil war. Turkish lawmakers passed the bill earlier today with 325 in favor to 184 against. Turkey is allied with Libya's UN-backed government, which is based in the capital of Tripoli. The Libyan government has been fighting an insurgency by forces under General Khalifa Haftar, based in eastern Libya. Egypt, which backs General Haftar, condemned Turkey's vote, saying it would negatively affect the stability of the Mediterranean region. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, wishing you a pleasant rest of the night.